I started the business at 25 in my apartment, and we've grown significantly since.
I want to say that today is tax day that we're celebrating, okay? Tax day. So, and we're getting historic tax relief. That's the good part. Historic. And, you know, over the last very short period of time, we passed the Tax Cuts and the Jobs Act, which really, we don't talk about the Jobs Act, but it's made a the number of jobs. We have over 6 million new jobs in this country. Nobody would have believed that was possible. That's a number that if I would have said that also, nobody would have believed it's possible. And it's the largest package of tax cuts and reforms in American history. We got something done that's truly historic, largest in history. Over 80% of American families now are receiving that big tax cut. And it's very interesting because I have an article here from one of the newspapers. That's one of the interesting newspapers, the very fake New York Times. See? And they must have made a mistake. I'm sure these writers will be fired very shortly, but they said in the article, face it, you probably got a tax cut. In other words, they're really pretty upset. You could tell where they're coming from, right? Face it, you probably got a tax cut. That's the headline. Then, if you're an American taxpayer, you probably got a tax cut last year, but there's a good chance that you won't believe it. Or, putting it differently, there's a good chance that you don't believe it. And they go on to talk about the fact that people have really benefited, and some people don't know it. Many people don't know it. A lot of businesses know it because they're the ones that are supplying the jobs, and because of the tax cuts, because of the big companies who are able to bring back money into the country, tremendous things are happening with respect to jobs. So we lowered income tax rates across the board, right across the board. Over 80% of the American families, as I said, get a tax cut, and the typical family earning $75,000 is saving more than $2,000 of their income. So they're picking up $2,000 every year because of this, but many are picking up much, much more than that, depending on the situation. We increased productivity all over the board, lowered income tax rates across the board. We doubled the standard deduction for everybody. That's a doubling of the standard deduction from $6,500 to $12,000 for individuals, and from $13,000 to $24,000 for married couples. And if I'm wrong on any of these numbers, Steve Mnuchin, our Treasury Secretary, I'm sure he's not shy, he will change it, he will call me out, right? But I think we're going to get it exactly right, Steve. We doubled the child tax credit. These are things that a lot of people, and that's possibly what the article is saying. I didn't read the rest of the article, frankly. I read the headline. I was so shocked to see it. You don't want to delve too much into the New York Times because nothing good comes from the New York Times. We doubled. Such fake news, such phony stories, it's unbelievable. But there was one that sort of, I couldn't believe.
Our business has been in business for over 44 years. I'm third generation running the business.